Podcast number 10 of No Sugar, No Cream podcast. And we're in different locations.
Yes, we are.
And Kim is on
Absolutely.
a cruise. No, wait.
You're on a cruise.
Oh, I'm on a cruise. I forgot where I was. Okay, I'm on a cruise. You're back in Nashville. And we're doing this remotely. And so far, it's not going too bad. Um, we tried going live just a second ago and I went sideways. but I was
I am
excited about it.
trying to get us live on Instagram at the moment. So entertain the crowd while you're
Yes,
doing
for
that.
this next bit,
Update the chat. Says
I will be
update.
doing a dance routine. Um, this was inspired by. I'm just kidding. I don't have a dance routine to do. But so yeah, we got on the ship yesterday. We flew up to Seattle, but we flew into Seattle Saturday. So yeah, got here like noon and hung out for a while. Went and saw a movie. I was waiting around for the rest of the family, for my family to get there because I couldn't even check my Airbnb because my brother had to use his ID. So I just kind of hung out for a little while in Seattle, and we did um, uh, um, Airbnb was nice. But the next day we went on an all day trip to the I can't remember the name of the mountain now, but we went and saw the mountains. We took like a it was like a oh like
Mount
a
Rainier. You
six.
went to Mount Rainier. I saw the
Yes,
post, right?
yes. It was a 2 hour drive to get there. So we were in like a nice bus, and a guy was talking about he was fantastic. In fact, I thought he looked like Tom Green. If you know who Tom Green is, he looked
Tom
like him, high energy guy, which was funny too because we got there at
Green.
like six
Who's
thirty in the morning.
Tom Green? Who's that?
Tom Green
Who's
is from the '90s. He had a show called The Tom Green Show, and now he still does some comedy. He's done mostly older movies. So he's done some movies that were mostly like in the 2000s. He did like a small handful of movies, and then now he does just kind of like some podcasting. He has a YouTube channel, and uh, uh, he has a farm in Canada. He's from Canada, and he moved back to Canada, and he
Oh
has
no,
like
you're
a
not talking
bunch of
about
land there.
if you can't be handsome, be handy guy. No, the green that was a different green guy, probably.
No, that yeah, I know who you're talking about too. That is the Red Green Show.
Yeah, red green. Yeah,
Yeah, you could do a pretty good impression of him. In fact, the
you're
only
doing a
I
good
got
impression.
introduced.
Yes.
Yeah, I can do. Yeah, let's see, talk something like that, and we had the show doing welcome to the Red Green Show. Yeah, I did that for somebody on a cruise that was a big fan, and he flipped out. He was like, "Oh my gosh, you could do that so well." I seriously got introduced to him in Grandpa and Grandma's basement. It was coming through the antenna. There was like two or three channels that Grandpa and Grandma could get through the antenna, and that was like a northern show that was from Canada, and it was playing reruns or whatever of the Red Green Show, and I caught a glimpse of that, and I got a kick out of it, like mostly because of his voice, and just I mean it was a pretty silly show, but that's the only time I ever saw him was in.
What
I
what
still
was his
remember
byline?
his.
And remember, if you can't be handsome, be handy, or something like that. Was it something like that?
Is that what it was?
I
That's
mean,
funny. Um, but yeah, so yeah, that's Tom Green. In fact, they so I saw him when I first moved to Nashville a few years ago. Dale and I went and saw him at the Zanies Comedy Club. Tom Green, so that was cool. He's a super nice guy. But in fact, he went on Joe Rogan a little while back, and Joe Rogan kind of credits him with the original concept of like doing somewhat of a pod. He was doing like a live podcast, he was like the first one to kind of do a live podcast, and it wasn't even on YouTube. It was just he used like some website, and he was uh, doing it out of his house. And Joe Rogan went on his live podcast thing. Kind of looked like a little bit like a night show, but it was basically like a live podcast. But yeah, super funny guy. But this guy act like him. It was fun. It was kind of overwhelming. His this the so we went to the mountain, and this guy gives us a tour, tells us all the facts and stuff, and took some trails. I got a blister going down to a waterfall, and the sights were. I mean, you saw the pictures, just beautiful. We saw a bear. A bear ran out 100, 200 feet in front of us and took up a big rock cliff on the other side. It was crazy. Daniel tried to snap some pictures of it, but he went so fast we didn't get a picture of it. But so that's what we did Saturday, and then Monday. Monday, what did we do Monday? Monday we kind of chilled. Oh, we went to the Seattle tower thing. What's that called?
Se- Seattle Power thing. I don't know what you mean.
The tower, the big
Oh, the tower. Oh, the Space Needle.
Space Needle. Thank you. Yeah, we went to the Space Needle. That was pretty neat. Quite the view. Kind of crazy. Walking up close to the glass, and then part of it even spins. Lower levels like spins where you're just slowly moves around. The whole thing moves around, which that's kind of crazy. And uh, my aunt and uncle flew in that evening, and
Your
then we
dad
got
really?
on the ship
Isn't your dad
yesterday.
really? If I remember, we went to a similar tower in New Zealand, in Auckland, New Zealand, and if memory serves, your dad has a real phobia of being of heights, so you didn't want to get close to the edge. Was
Yeah, he
that? I
didn't
remember
like getting too
somebody had a
close.
real phobia. I think it was your dad.
Yeah, yeah. He kind of stayed back. He didn't want to get too close. But the thing that got me was driving up to the mountain and being in this smaller bus, and there was no railing in parts, and you could just see like we would if he just goes like "Eh," does just a little bit of this, we are all dead. We are just plunging to our death down a mountain, and I could even hardly look out the window a lot of points just because it was straight down and just gigantic. But it was fun. But I got on the ship yesterday, and it's been fun so far. Uh, slept in today and had the diamond party. We went and had a nice brunch and had a nice filet mignon for lunch, and
The diamond
so
party, which is how many of your party is now a diamond? Just your brother?
all four of us are diamonds now.
Oh, what's the highest level?
Is diamond. It's
You're all at
75
the highest
days.
level now. Wow.
Yeah, my parents just got to it recently,
Wow. I think I'm still in
and
gold or something. I'm many levels below you.
hey, you're getting there. You're like you got to be at like 30 some days, right?
How many days you need to be gold? Or no, no, I am gold. What's the next level after
You-
gold?
Gold is like 25 days, probably 25 um
75. Yes?
to 75, I guess. And it is, isn't it? So you're like halfway. You're getting close to halfway there. After this next cruise, you should be at least halfway there. I bet.
Well, you know
But
what? Since
this
I'm
was a
on my
big
main computer now, I can probably even look it up and tell you.
yeah.
Uh,
Count. This was a big deal. Um, you can see at the bottom there that this is my milestone cruise. This cruise is number 50 for me.
oh,
50 cruises.
congratulations.
Thanks. Thanks. I probably should thank Daniel. He's dragged me on a bunch of cruises. I mean, I went willingly. It always
50
makes
with
more
Carnival.
sense to
And,
take somebody with you on
you know,
cruises
that
because you pay
50
for
with
double
Carnival.
occupancy. What's that?
50 with Carnival. 50 with Carnival.
Yes,
You've
50
done
with Carnival.
you've cheated on
Yeah,
Carnival a
so
few times.
earlier this
Not
year,
often. Not often. How often have you cheated on Carnival? And
that was my first time ever was doing Celebrity. You didn't have
when
to
we did
snitch on me,
Celebrity,
Tim. Gosh. We,
Carnival will know about this and be very disappointed that you uh,
oh, I had the volume low. There we go. Yeah, yeah. They'll be very upset with me. Um, so yeah, number
I'm
50. But yeah, we
talking
did Celebrity
more
Cruise, and that
people.
was fun.
More and more people. The only other one that keeps coming up is in the same ballpark as Carnival is. Did I get it
Royal
wrong?
Caribbean.
Royal Caribbean. Yeah,
Yeah, I
they
would like.
also own
They
Celebrity,
have
right?
the
They
biggest
own
ship.
Celebrity, right?
Uh, Carnival.
Royal
Carnival
Caribbean owns Celebrity.
owns Celebrity. Yes, yes, they're connected. I believe. Yes, because you can transfer your days or whatever. So yeah, and Royal Caribbean. Yeah, I think
That's
they
who
can
has
be.
Vista. Royal Caribbean has Vista, the biggest ship in the world. Who has that?
Uh, it, Vista is a Carnival ship, but
No, no.
Royal
What's the
Caribbean.
biggest ship in the world?
Yeah,
Recently launched.
it is something of the seas. Yeah, I forget the name of it, but yeah, it is the Royal Caribbean that has like the two biggest, at least two or three of the biggest cruises in the world. Um, uh, Carnival really doesn't seem to hasn't really tried to
Star of the
make one
Seas. Yeah,
big.
Royal Caribbean International. Yes, Star of the
Yeah,
Seas. Number
Star of
one.
the Seas. Yeah, yeah, which it's great. I would like to do that, do a Royal Caribbean some days. Which I'm saying that when I'm on the Carnival. Hopefully, they're not listening. But yeah, it'll be fun. We're on our way up to Alaska for 14 days. That's a 14-day cruise, and then we're going to
It has
Hawaii for
seven.
15 days.
It'll do 7,600 passengers. 7,600.
That's crazy. On this one, we got 2,000. We got about 2,000.
The largest one on this list here, the largest carnival, is all the way down to number 15. It's the Carnival Celebration. Are you familiar with that one?
Yeah, that's the one we just went on. Was that earlier this year? I think we went on that in January, the end of January. It's pretty cool.
And it
Yeah,
must be must be a newer
it's
one, huh?
yeah, yeah. That one just came out like last year, I think.
Probably, yeah.
So yeah, you got to experience one of these big ships sometimes, Tim. It's kind of a trip. So, but it's what
Maybe,
you make it.
yeah. But you know what drives me when I go cruising? It's can I see any new countries?
Right,
So
right.
if
You
I go
like
to
to see the
countries,
new
I'm not
countries.
because I want to see every. My goal is to go to every country in the world as long as I'm on
And
this
me,
earth.
I like it, which I mean, I want to do that too. But for as far as cruising, I just love being on the ship. And when you're on those giant ones, I mean, you're meeting new people every day. Like, I mean, it's how funny too how you'll meet one person and not even see them the rest of the cruise. Sometimes when there's like 6,000 people on your ship, it's just insane. But it's fun. There's one of the cool new things about those brand new ships is there's like during lunchtime from like 11 to 2 or 3 they have like an appetizer little thing and there's like three different locations. One's like usually dumplings, one's like a meat, and they have little appetizers that are so good, and one's fried or something like that. And all those are usually they usually have like dumplings a lot or pot stickers, and then like a really and those are always fun to hit up. I usually get full off of eating those for lunchtime.
You mean so that's like in the main up on the top deck where
Mhm.
where people are in the pool and stuff?
Yep,
So
yep.
you basically have it in your swim trunks, basically.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yep. Yeah, in fact,
No.
usually I have don't even hit up the tacos that because that's usually my favorite thing to do is the tacos. You go to the taco area and you usually get chicken. It's chicken fish or pork, And if you finesse, you can ask for a steak too, because the burrito has steak. They usually don't like to try to give you the steak, but and then they just give you the taco with the meat on it, and then you go and dress it just how you want: lettuce, tomatoes, salsa, sour cream, cheese. Oh, so in fact, which oh yeah, this probably shut down now for day. It usually shuts down at 3:30, but we got dinner in 2.5 hours. Of course, I had filet mignon for lunch, so I should be
So the way
on
we're
there.
doing it, and maybe I should do this on my laptop going forward because I can put comments here. Hamzy Real said, "Hey," and I put it on the screen. How you doing? Thank you for watching. So can you
Oh,
see
that's
that?
cool. Yeah, I see
Yeah.
that.
So
Yeah,
maybe we should change up what we're doing so that we can do that in the future. And
yeah,
recognize people who are commenting and stuff. We're only 10 in. This is our 10th one, so we're still figuring
yep.
out
Only
all
10
the
episodes. Most of our listeners are going to be on, seems to be on Facebook right now. So thanks for everybody watching us on Facebook. We're live usually on Tuesdays, but surprise, we're live on a Wednesday. So for the next month, it will be kind of sporadic,
surprise.
but we'll be nice surprised. But and then
You
before too long, we'll be on all your different podcast apps. But yeah, we got a good audience right now on Facebook, which is nice. So,
Yeah, thank you so
but
much for those watching us. We appreciate you so
yeah,
much, and help us build this thing, and hopefully that we add value, and you're being entertained, or most of the entertainment comes from
yeah.
Seth. I'm the straight guy.
Uh, and if you would please like, or especially when if you're on Facebook, like it and share it. So you share it with your friends, and maybe we'll find somebody out there that will be entertained by our shenanigans. But
Entertained by our shenanigans. Oh,
so
David,
hey, how did you?
here I'm going to put David on here now. David said, "God, I'm afraid I missed you yesterday." Yeah, you were supposed to go yesterday, but somebody backed
Yes,
out. Somebody, I don't. We're not
yeah.
going to name
I
names.
don't know. Let me do a little demonstration. I'm going to do a quick little demonstration of what happened yesterday. Just here we go. And action.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm texting. We're supposed to go live at our normal time yesterday, and of course Seth's on a cruise, so he's out there. But we'd planned it, talked on the phone, and he'd be on the ship and still in the port where he could access and use his phone, which is what he's using now. Um,
yeah, can you hear me okay? Because I'm scared.
I said,
I just lost one of my earbuds, and I'm scared it's the one that has the mic in it.
I can still hear you. I can
Okay,
still hear you.
I must be fine right now. I won't even mess
Come
with trying to find it.
5 o'clock, it's 4:45. I get everything set up. Takes some time to get it all set up on all the different
Yeah,
channels. And I'm texting Seth, and I said, "Are we good for 5 o'clock?" And 5 o'clock comes and goes, and so I text him, "I guess not." And
yes,
he was passed out
I
because,
I
admittedly,
apologize. I called, I
you had big
text.
back, right? You had a big back issue, right? Your
Killing
back
me.
was
I don't
bothering.
know. I don't
Now you're frozen.
know from all the loss. The it could have been the bed. Daniel's back was hurting him too from the bed. It was one of those like really really hard beds.
In the
It
hotel, but
was
now you're on the cruise.
yeah. I always sleep really well on the cruise beds. You know those memory foams, which they feel like they should be comfortable, but then you lay on them and then like they don't feel well good at all. Of
That's
course,
what.
sometimes
So
you
the
just feel like you're comfortable, but then you wake up miserable. What were you saying?
so we're so that's what the hotel you're in. You was the word,
Yeah, the
right?
Airbnb. Yeah,
Or air it was an Airbnb. Oh,
it's the Airbnb. Yeah,
so
which does
I
a
am
really hit
going
or
to.
miss.
So I am planning a little bit of an excursion ahead of our cruise in Christmas time, and I've already bought the tickets. and there is a probability that I may not make it on the cruise because I'm down in Miami, and what's really close to Miami is Cuba. So I bought tickets to Cuba, which, officially you're only supposed to go to Cuba for very specific things. And it's kind of in the gray zone. But I'm planning on going. And if they don't let me back into the U.S., I won't be able to get on the cruise in December.
Oh, I think you'll be okay.
I mean, they have flights going there. I mean, American Airlines, I mean, full flights every day, multiple ones. So what are they going to like not let any of them back in? I don't know. Officially we're supposed to be embargoing them, but I mean, it's really kind of a joke because there are many other worse countries that have done much worse things recently that we're, have full engagement with. And we're still butthurt about, Castro, who's dead now, converted it into communism. And now they're a poor country. It's technically communistic, but
Yeah,
they're
when
no.
did he pass away? I felt like there were so many rumors. When did he pass away? Do you know?
Fidel Castro passed away, and then I think his brother who ran it passed away as well. Let's see, there's his brother who. Let's see, here it is.
Now there's a homeless man that runs the country.
He died in 2008. Fidel died in 2008. He was a leader
Yeah,
from
and he
59 to 2008, and I thought his brother ran it. At least I thought for a while. Raul ran it. And is Raul dead now? No, he's still alive, but he's retired. Raul is still alive. So who
well, no
is?
wonder the country isn't being run very well. The guy in
He's not in charge anymore. Let's see who's in charge.
oh, okay.
Uh, Miguel Diaz Canel is a Cuban politician engineer. He has served as the first secretary of the Communist Party of Cuba since 2021 and the 17th president of Cuba since 2019. So Miguel Diaz Canel is the guy. But they're still officially communistic. But
Yeah,
I want
what
to.
you go over there and they got cars from like the 50s and 60s, and you want
Yeah,
to ship
yeah.
all
I've,
over the world.
I've been looking at a lot of photos. They've got all these beautiful classic cars, and actually, the reason I brought up Royal Caribbean is the local bank branch manager Nicole. We became we talk when I come in, and she's been there since July 1st, and one of the tellers is actually of Cuban descent. And I had to go there to do a transaction earlier this week. And I was talking to the teller and I said, you've been to Cuba, right? And she said, no, I've got family there, but I haven't been there yet. But Nicole has. So I go into Nicole's office and I start, ask her if I could interrupt her and talk about that. And she went in 2018 when it was eased up. But after 2020, when Trump became president, it became a lot hard. They reduced the ability to go there officially. And so now no cruises stop in Cuba. But they were after Obama lifted some of the regulations. And so cruises started stopping. And she went there in Royal Caribbean, which is in 2018, which would have been, I would have preferred to go there then because you're always worried
Yeah, I
about,
remember there were a couple Carnival cruises that were going to be going or whatever. I don't know
but
if
they
they
don't
ever
go now.
happened
I
or not.
checked it. I would have taken the cruise just to go to Cuba, but then
Yeah,
nobody goes there anymore. No, because it's too officially. But American Airlines is flying there, so it's kind of funny how airline companies are going there, but cruises apparently are not. So
interesting.
it is interesting. So I want to experience it. I mean, I read some blogs on it. This one woman was there, and she was there for 5 days. Just 5 days was too long. She said
Mm,
she never felt unsafe. She never felt unsafe, but she said
that's good.
it's and you would think they'd have great food, Cuban food, but she said all the good food was out of Havana, out in the countryside, um, and so they're crushing poverty. They don't have much money, so um, you know, and the worst thing to do if you want to get back in the U.S. without any repercussions is to stay at the nice hotels that are owned by the state because it's communistic. And so you're not supposed to engage with any of the state owned. They don't want to help the state, but you can go. One of the reasons you can go is to support the Cuban people. So if you stay in an Airbnb, which is I am, they have Airbnbs there, and then you're supporting the Cuban people, and that is okay. But then you can't. Here's something: you can't do any transactions there. You cannot do any ATM transactions. You cannot do any Visa, MasterCard, no credit card transactions. So whatever cash you need, you better bring it with you. So that's an interesting thing. No, you can't go to an ATM in Cuba.
You should probably like yeah, it'd probably be good to have like some kind of secret have have some money hidden on you somewhere for backup.
Multiple places
Yeah.
is my plan.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's not lady. If people are saying it's not, they don't feel unsafe, then
But
that's good.
United
I mean,
Airlines has
there's
jet
probably some
flights
certain
there.
areas to deal with them.
American Airlines has jet flights there, multiple, like 5, 6 a day. How many people are on a jet? Like over 100 people. So, 500, 600 people a day are going from Miami to Havana. And that's just Air American Airlines.
Hmm.
So interesting. I
What
hope by announcing this
interesting.
on public that I don't get blacklisted. Just my luck.
Really
I'll delete
interesting.
it after.
So, did you like your nice, exciting meal surprise Monday? It was a surprise
Yeah,
to both
yeah,
of
yeah.
us.
You forgot, and one thing that occurred to me is, a lot of companies these days are so okay. We better explain what we're talking about. Changing subjects. We're not talking about Cuba or Caribbean or cruising now. We're talking about Factor 75, which is a company that sends you
Not
prepared meals,
sponsored.
that you can just they're refrigerated, they're not frozen, and they're healthy. Like around 500 calories plus or minus. They vary from
You
the
lost
lowest one
20
from
pounds on it.
440, and the highest one that I've seen is 580. But I know they have higher ones, but I want the lower ones anyway. And so apparently, so I've been getting 10 a week, and you had, I think, 10 a week, and you tried to cancel it. It occurred to me, like so many companies these days, once they got your subscription information, they make it really hard to cancel that subscription. Oh, it didn't go
Yeah.
through. They get one more week or 2 more weeks.
Yeah,
And so I'm
I
thinking
might have
about
missed.
at some point I'm going to want to cancel. And not that what that has told me about your difficulty. You thought you had canceled it, and it showed up on Monday, which is the normal day. And I texted you. Um, have you made any progress with closing that down?
Yep, I talked to them. It's all taken care of, and they gave me my money back.
They did.
Hmm.
Well, good for you. Okay, so they
Yeah,
weren't
they were
difficult, huh?
great. They were
Were
very
they
great. I
apologies?
said I appreciate that. So
Was it their
what's that?
mistake? Was it their mistake?
It might have been my. I might have messed up canceling. I skipped, but then I shut it down, and then um, I didn't even realize. But I had another email where I logged in, and I thought it had completely canceled, but I just logged in with a different email, and I thought I had canceled, but then they said it looked like you had canceled. So, but I don't know if it was my fault or their fault. I'm not sure, but either way, they
Well,
gave me the
what a good
money
customer. Well,
money back.
kudos to them.
Yeah,
We endorse them even though we are
not sponsored.
not sponsored. Hey, got a great comment from Tyler here. Thank you so much, Tyler. Tim Wolf, you the man. Road to Nor was my jam this summer. You make my day, Tyler. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me when people make comments like that and tells me that because sometimes it's a grind, man. It's a real grind making music and putting it out and trying to keep going. And when you make it, that it's actually reaching people and that means so much. Thank you, Tyler.
You got a
I'm so
song coming out Friday, right?
I do have a song coming out Friday, and it is Stephanie, and it's a little bit different than some of my
Definitely.
previous stuff. and it's a little more hip hoppy, funky, a little more modern.
Yeah,
Modern,
you get stuck in your head a little pretty easily.
I hope so. It's a short little
I like
song.
a good stuck in your head.
It's
Yeah.
only 81 seconds long, which is pretty short. And I thought about making it longer, but if you go on neo soul, which is kind of in a neo soul category, there's a lot of really short songs under 2 minutes. And because Spotify well, if you're looking for, I'm not at the level where I get any level of money from Spotify, but if you're getting millions of streams, Spotify pays, if it gets to 30 seconds, they'll pay you. And they pay the same for a 31-second song as they do for a 4-minute, 29-second song. So why not
Mm.
make 3 1-minute songs instead of 1 4-minute song, roundly speaking, if you're doing it for the money, which isn't my motivation. But anyway, I wrote the song, and it was 2 verses and 1 chorus, which is very similar to the song Million Dollar Baby by Tommy Richmond. Although I don't think it sounds very much like it, but that was kind of my influence. I don't think he can accuse me of ripping you off because it's not similar, but it was my vibe influence. And his song is longer than that, but it's 2 choruses and 1 verse, which is what mine is. So it starts with the chorus, goes to the verse, 1 verse, and then the chorus. So a lot of times you make songs and they have, at least 2 choruses, like you do verse, chorus, and maybe you'll have a bridge in there. You might have pre-choruses, might even have post-choruses. So you have a lot of different sections. But Tommy Richmond's song only had 3 sections. Chorus, 1 verse, and then the chorus repeated again. And so that's what I did with Stephanie, although it's rather short. Each section is kind of short. But it packs a lot of punch, I expect. So look for that. That will drop at midnight, Thursday night, and wherever you happen to be. And check it out, Stephanie. And
Definitely.
I'm excited about it. It's a little different departure. I hope people don't. I had a debate with someone with my vocal coach. Should I release this? Because there is a thinking in the music business that you should only release songs in your lane. Basically in your genre. Make all your music
Stay in
sound.
your lane, mister. You stay in your
And
lane.
there's no electric guitar on this song, Stephanie. There's no guitar at all, acoustic, electric, any sort. And the bass is electronic, synth bass, and it's got keyboards. I played all the parts. The drums are programmed.
I can't wait to cancel you, mister. You're not staying in your lane.
I'm not staying in my lane. We'll see. I heard one. I get a lot of emails and subscribe to a lot of advice on how to be an indie artist and what to do and what not to do. And one guy said, until you have 1 million monthly listeners, you don't really have a brand. So you can do anything. Well, I'm far from 1 million monthly listeners. I was at 40,000, and I looked at it this morning, and I dropped to 35,000. 35,000 is still amazing. Thank you so much for all of you that are listening. But dropping 5,000 just like overnight. Last time I checked it, I think was Saturday, and I checked it today, and I went from 4,100 to 35,000, 41,000 to 35,000. I'm like, how did I drop so much? But it ebbs and flows. New songs come out. Some songs do better than others, But Tyler, I'm so glad that you like Road to Nowhere. I really appreciate that. It is kind of a summery song. I could see how you think it would be a summer. Road to Nowhere. You go out exploring during the summer. I
Speaking of
suppose.
summer, it's like 40 degrees on the ship right now. Or it was
40
40 something. A little early.
40 Fahrenheit, right?
Fahrenheit, yeah.
So it's cold.
Very cold.
Sorry? Yeah. No, the only reason that I say that is I had my meeting today with Red Frogs. I've told you about Red Frogs, which is an organization I'm volunteering with. And which is every Friday now we have a booth down on Broadway. There's a lot of drunk revelers down on Broadway. And we charge phones, we offer water, you have to stay hydrated. We help people that are in trouble from drinking too much and need help getting home. We've we paid for Ubers for people. If someone needs medical condition, we call medical help. Anyway, the organization is Australian, and
I
the
was
two
about to say,
guys, the two
one of those
guys that,
Australians had to go south this.
and we're still buying some stuff, for the booth and everything, and they were looking at getting some extension cords, and they use some radically different language than we do. Like, for example, and they're buying some merch. Part of it was buying things that we need and ordering them, and like we need t-shirts, hats, and jumpers. Do you know what a jumper is? You were in Australia. What's a jumper, Seth? Clothing item. Do you know what a jumper is?
The skin of a kangaroo.
Makes sense. Kangaroos jump. I see where you're coming from. No, a jumper is a hoodie or a sweater. A
Ah,
hoodie. It's a jumper.
the first thing I was thinking was like cargo, or it was like like sweats, or something.
And I knew that because when I used to live in Japan, a lot of the Japanese that speak English, and I even had Australian friends who were living there teaching English, because I was teaching English part-time, and I met some Australian folks, and they used the term jumper, so I got familiar with that terminology. Here's another one for you. Now I can't remember when you have an extension cord that has a bunch of plugs on the end. Now I lost what we call it. What do we call it? Like 10 plugs at one. They call it a
Power
strip.
adapt.
Yeah, power strip. We call it a power strip. They call it a power board. And then they were trying to buy enough cords to go from. We need power there. And they were looking at extension cords, and the one guy's only been in the U.S. for like a week or two, and so he hasn't acclimated to our weird numbering system. The only developed country in the world that still uses Imperial.
There's the weird ones. Oh, metric system. Yeah,
Oh, we're the
I
weird
heard
ones.
about that.
We're the
Yes,
weird
we're the
ones.
weird one when it comes to
Feet,
metric
pounds.
system. Yes.
Every other country in the world uses the metric system. We're the weird ones. Anyway, and so there's like 65 feet extension cord and 25 feet, and I converted it for him. One was 40. He said 40, and he says, I have no idea how long that is. And I said, that's about 18 meters, and did it in my head. And then I guess they didn't trust me, and so he checked it and did the calculation, and it was 18.2 meters. And I said, I got it in my head. And so, anyway, the metric system is a big deal. So, in Celsius, and that's why I'm now thinking, when you're with someone like that and you think of you try to, or I do anyway, try to think of how they think and use terminology that is, comfortable to them. And that's why I was still in that mode. The last people that I talked to, I haven't talked to anyone since then. And so that's why you said 40 degrees. And to be honest, my first thought was you were talking Celsius, and 40 degrees is pretty hot Celsius. That's why I asked you Celsius versus Fahrenheit. Right. I got to switch back to Americanese now.
Welcome back to America. Free USA, USA, USA.
And then one more story that cracks me up about the metric system. And so I used to export to Japan a lot. I exported soybeans, and I would have Japanese visitors come. And there was this one Japanese visitor who, after we were done with our business, he asked if I would take him to his next potential customer. And I said, sure, I'll do that. And it was we were in South Dakota, Minnesota, so it's a long drive. We had to drive like an hour and a half. And he's telling me after our last thing in Sioux Falls, we were going to Minnesota, and he's stressed out, very, stressed out, because he said, I'm concerned about this guy that I'm meeting. He told me that he weighs 300 kilograms. And I mean, that's a big man. That's like a sumo wrestler size. And I immediately started laughing, and I knew exactly what had happened. So, because I worked with a lot of Americans because I was selling my soybeans by the kilogram. And I know that Americans who don't have a lot of experience with metric system, the first thing most Americans know of is kilometers. And they know that kilometers is a kilometer. Seth, you probably know this. Is a kilometer distance shorter or longer than a mile?
Shorter.
Yes, you were right. So in
Oh,
American
60% like of a
1.
mile?
Yes. 1.6 kilometers equals a mile. I don't know if that comes to 60%, but it's close. Yeah. So most Americans are thinking that the metric unit is smaller than the American unit because they know the kilometer. But when it comes to pounds and kilograms, it's the opposite. The multiple is 2, but 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds. So what this guy did in his head, he was thinking, okay, kilogram, I convert. I know it's 2, but it's definitely a kilogram is smaller than a pound because he's already acclimated to the kilometers. So the guy weighs 150 pounds, probably roughly. And instead of dividing by 2, which is what he should have done, and said 70 kilograms, he multiplied by 2. And he said he weighed 300 kilograms, which is 660 pounds. That's a big person. That's like a sumo wrestler size. And it was stressing out my Japanese customer because he was imagining having to meet this humongous man. And I calmed him down and I said, I guarantee you he doesn't weigh 300 kilograms. He probably weighs 70 kilograms. And I was right. When we met him, he was just a 150-pound guy roughly. So that's one funny story. He said, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" The Japanese guy, he was really concerned. He didn't want
It's
to meet
funny
such a
that he was
giant.
already intimidated by his weight.
What's that? Sorry.
That's funny that he was intimidated just by his weight.
He was, yeah. He was, what does he think he was going to do? Sit on him or something? But well, imagine, okay, the guy's he's speaking a second language. Japanese is his first language, and Japanese are especially because they wanted you do everything perfect. Like for example, if you meet in Japan, you meet someone, and if they say that they play guitar, you can be darn sure that they are an incredible guitar player because they would not tell you that they played it unless, or whatever the hobby is, any hobby. If they tell you they do a hobby, they are excellent at it. It's their culture. Otherwise, if they're not excellent at it, just beginner, they will not even mention it. So it's this culture of excellence. And so, speaking English, they have to do business, and they feel inferior. I mean, they feel, their English isn't that great because it's really hard for a Japanese person to learn English. Have you ever seen some of those videos where it makes fun of how we pronounce words and how they make no sense? There's a guy who does it, and he'll say, okay, this word is pronounced this way. And then you change the first consonant, and you would think it would be pronounced the same way, but with a different consonant. But no, it's different. And I can't remember the examples, but English has so many violations to the rules, more than any other language.
Yeah, I've heard it's one of the hardest languages to learn, right?
Yeah, it is for someone who doesn't speak it. So he probably would never say in the normal cultural thing that he speaks English because he's not good enough at it, but he has to speak English because he's doing business. So he's got anxiety about that, if that makes sense. So, and that he's already having some anxiety about, my English probably won't be good enough. And then he's added in the guy is going to be so big, that he can squish him if he sat on him, and just the social anxiety. I mean, so he was pretty stressed out about it. And I tried to.
Do you accept the deal, or do I smush you?
So that's my, I decry the fact that we still use the empirical system.
It doesn't make any sense.
Someone who's traveled a lot and exported, and it was a pain in the butt. I mean, we're selling by the kilogram, and if one of my staff made a mistake and did that mistake,
can eat up all your profit.
Yeah, exactly. You have to divide and go the right direction, or else it would be half of what they needed. So we sold. Our bags were 25 kilo, which is 55 pounds. So 25 kilo is 55 pounds. Now, if you say 55 pounds and you did it the opposite way, you know, you're saying we're selling 25 kilos, and it would say 25 kilos, you'd only put 12 pounds in there, you know. So,
Matt, it's fun.
now that I've lost all of our fans because I'm talking about technical stuff, but so all right, so you could probably
I'm
wrap it
still
up
with
in
you.
45 minutes. So what's your schedule tonight? When are you going to the special dining, Seth? Do you have that sussed out yet?
Oh, I think I think we got one coming up. I think we're doing one halfway through the cruise and then one at the end as far as the steakhouse. And I think there's mostly just the
Steakhouse
steak.
only,
I'm
or are
not
you
sure.
doing any other
This is a little
ones?
bit smaller ship, so I don't think there's any of the other. There's not like the Chinese place or the Italian place. I don't think is on here. I don't think. I don't know. But we're definitely hitting the steak up house up. But I did get my flaming young today, so I'm happy about that. Very.
Oh, and then what are all your ports of call? Alaska,
You
right?
know,
Primarily.
I have no idea. Tim, you know better than to ask me. Oh, you smart. I know. I see what you're doing. I see what you did there. You know I don't give a rip about no ports.
So next Tuesday, let's talk about this. We would be able to do it at our normal time. I mean, when do you get on and off the ship? I mean, if you're getting on and off the ship, that would be a little bit, probably possibly difficult, but actually not because
Well, now we know we can do it on sea days. I'm
yeah,
doing this right from the bedroom. I got
that
pretty
is
good.
amazing. Yeah, good.
I've had
You have good, and
in
you're using the
fact,
Wi-Fi, right? You're not using your phone. You're
I'm
not
using the
using
Wi-Fi.
cell. Yeah, nice, good,
In
good
fact,
Wi-Fi.
it's been showing. It gives a 4 bars for on through the restream, and it's been one time it dropped down to 3 bars for a little bit. For the most part, it's been at 3 solid green bars through this for the app.
Amazing,
So
amazing. So we can keep
it,
up. We can do
yeah.
it live. We can do everyone live, and maybe the two that we did can be bonus. We'll
Well,
see.
bonuses, little surprises, surprise podcast. Welcome to the surprise. No. Oh no. Well, one we got to. I think I basically named it the secret podcast.
Yeah, you
Well,
forgot to
guys,
put clothes.
thanks for
One where
listening.
you forgot to
Thanks
put
for
clothes on.
watching. What's that?
The one where you forgot to put clothes on. That one.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're posting that one. Damn, you told me. You told me you deleted that one.
All right, buddy. Have so much fun, and
Yes, sir. I shall.
say hello
Yeah.
to my sister, my brother-in-law, and my other nephew, and wish them all well. Love them all.
Yes. Yes, sir. And it would probably be weird if we didn't mention, but today is 9/11, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
we have
yeah,
people that
yeah.
we lost many years ago. Goodness, it's been
Never forget. Never forget. Absolutely.
20, 23 years now. 23 years.
Years ago. Yeah.
We lost a lot of people. 3,000, was it 3,000 people?
It was about 3,000 people. And, our country has never been the same. I mean, it was a radically
Yeah.
changed. I saw a post this morning, and I'd actually forgotten it was 9/11. And then a guy posted, and he said that he happened to go to a baseball game in Chicago, and he happened to sit he was 19 years old in 1999, and he happened to sit next to a guy who worked at the 89th floor of the World Trade Center, and and he said, they hit it off, and the guy said, "I like you, and once you graduate college, give me a call, and I can get a job for you." And 2 years later, obviously the guy died, and he posted it. He said, "We should be doing our 25th ball game together." And instead, the guy passed away. So that's just individual stories. So many individual
Yeah.
stories of tragedies and
Yeah.
people calling their loved ones. when they knew they were going to die. I mean, that's just that kind of stuff is just even from the plane. I mean, there were some guys calling people once they knew this in the last plane, the one that went in.
Yeah,
People were calling their loved ones and saying, "I know I'm not going to make it. I love you." And
yeah, it was kind of crazy situation too, because some people didn't, like thought maybe their family member or even still in the tower and stuff, and because that was 2001, at that point everybody still didn't have cell phones, and then of
right,
course how
right,
good was it covered
exactly.
even back then? But yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think I
texting
got my
wasn't a thing.
first
I remember I
phone
got my
until
first text like later in the aughts, like so at least maybe some people are having text, but I mean, technology was a lot different for sure.
it's kind of crazy.
So
Now we're
yeah,
doing this.
there we go.
I'm the I'm the ocean headed toward Alaska right now, and here in Nashville, and we're live on Facebook and what YouTube, and and it's amazing. It's amazing. I'm just
It is amazing.
using my
Good
iPhone.
catching up with you, buddy. All right, we'll see you
Guys,
later.
please like, share,